The crisis in Gaza has been building up for some time now, and to be honest about it, I've been kind of afraid to talk about it. I didn't tell myself I was afraid, of course. You know, we don't usually do that in situations like these. I did what we so often do. I didn't tell myself that the subject is too controversial or that it's too incendiary or that I don't want to alienate my audience and maybe risk my own well-being in some way. Instead, I told myself that people listen to me or read me to whatever extent they do because of the credibility I've gained on economic issues, on Social Security, Medicare, on Wall Street, on poverty, education, and other types of domestic policy. But the truth is, I thought of that subject as a political minefield, and honestly, I just didn't want to step in it. I also didn't want to alienate friends and family who feel very differently on the subject from me. But I know what's going on here. I've worked overseas. I've been a contractor for the State Department. I know enough about national security and international relations to know what's going on in Gaza as a horror show. I also know enough to know that it's a very, very one-sided situation, that innocent people are being hammered in Gaza and slaughtered by an overwhelmingly superior military force in contravention of international law and, in my opinion, basic human decency as well. Now, let's not go to that place where it says somehow that's supposed to mean I support Hamas. Of course I don't. Unfortunately, that's the disclaimer everybody has to make, as ridiculous as it is to even suggest it. But our politics makes you go there. The truth is, I felt for a long time that a nonviolent Palestinian resistance would make a lot more sense, would be extraordinarily effective, and I have a huge problem with anybody who targets innocent civilians on any side of a conflict. But the fact remains, we have a moral obligation to challenge Israel's policy here. It's Israel which is destroying hospitals and schools right now in violation of international law. And it's Israel which receives massive U.S. financial support. That means support from you and me. That gives us a moral responsibility in this situation. What's more, if you support Israel's right to exist, you have a very special reason to want this madness to stop. Its military actions are doing far more to undercut world support than anything Hamas has done or frankly could do. The future is becoming increasingly clear. If Netanyahu and his colleagues go on this way, Israel will suffer. But that's the future. Today, children and other innocents are dying. Why? Because of the immoral philosophy of collective guilt. Collective guilt is something that should have been put away with the other misguided ideas of the 20th century. We need to end this madness now. So on today's program, we'll talk about slanted coverage of the Gaza situation. We can't call it a conflict, really, because right now it's so one-sided, but I make you this promise. From now on, I'll try to be more courageous, even when, especially when, I have all sorts of good reasons not to be. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.